Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay, this is Coloring Bliss, and today we are trying out the AquaBlend by Spectrum Noir. They are a water-soluble color pencil, a watercolor pencil. So we're having a lot of fun with them. The first hour we did over on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, you need to. We're having so much fun over on Facebook. I have a Facebook page and an amazing Facebook group that you need to join because it's an amazing group full of colorists that are everywhere from beginner to advanced colorists, and we can answer your questions about coloring and coloring products. And yeah, it's a great community, so come and join us over on Facebook. Now follow my Facebook page while you're over there because that's where we stream every week the first hour of these weekly live events. But now we're here with you on YouTube, and this is part 2 of this week's live event where we're talking about the AquaBlend pencils by Spectrum Noir. These pencils have been around for 4 to 5 years, depending on what resource you look at. And I haven't had them in my art studio. This is the first set I've ever had. And the reason I picked them up is because one of my favorite watercolorists here on YouTube has them in her studio. And I thought, you know what, if they're good enough for her, I need to try them out. And it's Lindsay the Frugal Crafter. If you haven't followed her YouTube channel, highly recommend it because she teaches amazing coloring skills, and I love her style, down-to-earth type teaching of coloring skills. And this is one of the watercolor tools that she has, and so I thought, you know what, I need to try these out. And there's a lot of different sets you can pick up from Spectrum Noir of these pencils. I decided on this tin right here. It's the primary set. There's 24 tools, 24 pencils in this set. And I'm having fun with them. We're trying them out, kind of mixed results so far, but part of it is a learning curve. How do you use these tools? How do they interact with water? Do you need to use heavy pressure, light pressure? All these types of questions we're answering. We're also going to compare them to the other sets of water-soluble pencils that I have here in the studio. I have Inktense, Prismacolor, Crayola, and some Derwent. I have all kinds of pencils here right behind me that we're going to pull forward here in a minute and do a little comparison just in case you are also looking into some water-soluble tools. Should you buy them? Should you buy a different brand? How do they work? These are the kinds of questions that we're going to answer tonight. If you own these pencils, I would love you to comment below. Do you like them? Do you have a brand that you like more? What do you like about these? What do you not like about them? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to know. And give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, and subscribe and share, all those great things that help out YouTube channels like mine. I would sure appreciate it. So let me share real quick as far as specs on these pencils. They have a 4mm core, which is a nice thick core, thicker than most pencils, so you get a lot of product per pencil. They have, right now there's 6 different tins you can purchase on Amazon. This one that I purchased is the primary set. They have like a portrait set and a florals set. There's 4 sets of 24 and 2 sets of 12, so it works out to 120 different pencils, and I'm pretty positive on this that there are no duplicates within the tins. So if you want the entire set, you'd end up with all of these different tins. There's 6 tins you'd end up with. Like I said, 4 sets of 24 and 2 sets of 12 in the end. There's no box set that would give you all of them that I could find. You can buy them on Amazon that I found, and consumercrafts.com are the 2 sites that I found the most readily, and the prices are kind of all over the place. Let me show you as of today on Amazon the kind of prices I was finding. This set that I'm using today was coming in at $31.21 US dollars on Amazon. That's for the 24, but you can see the 12 set was coming in at 21. One of the 24 set was coming in at $25. So the prices are all over the place. So do your shopping. Make sure you get the best deal if you decide to try them out. And check out the colors that are in each set and pick the one that you think is more for you and your style of art. The primary set seems to be the most versatile as far as you get a little bit of everything, although there's no browns, no black, no white, but you get reds, yellows, greens, and blues. So they are very primary colors, and then you can mix. So that would be good. So yeah, it kind of depends on what style of coloring you like. The floral set was really calling my name because it has a lot of purples, a lot of pinks, but that's pretty much it. Lots of purples and pinks, a little bit of yellows and oranges in it, but there were no greens and nothing else. So it seemed very not very versatile, so that's why I went for the primary set. There's a link to it in the video description. It is an Amazon affiliate link, which means there's no additional cost to you if you click on that link, but it does give Coloring Bliss a little kickback if you purchase using that link. This is not a sponsored video. I purchased these pencils with my own money to try them out so that I could give you my personal opinion on these pencils. All right, where we left off over on Facebook was we wanted to answer some questions like, do they blend? Let's see, what else did they want to know? Do they blend? Do the colors mix well together? And then how do they compare to other brands? And then we wanted to actually do some coloring with them. And I have a new technique that I want to try. I saw it done on another video, and I'm really excited to show it to you and give it a little try. And then just answering your questions on how to color with water-soluble pencils. We can do all that tonight live. We've got Steve back with us tonight. Do you want to say hi, Steve?
Sure.
Okay, I'll lean in.
Should I do a... You know that's just begging for a dad joke. Do you want to say hi, Steve? And then I say hi, Steve.
Yeah, well, you're a dad. You can say all the dad jokes. I don't know why they call them dad jokes. I say just as many dorky jokes as dads do.
Parent jokes.
Parent jokes. They should totally be called parent jokes because my joke, I get as many eye rolls from our teenage son as you do. So
true.
This should be parent jokes. I won't bore them. Anyway.
Hello, everyone.
Steve's back. He was missing last week because of an injury.
Yes.
You're still injured, but at least you're by my side again.
Yes.
Like I said over on Facebook, so grateful for all your help that you give us here
Glad
at
to be
Coloring
here.
Bliss. All right. Are you inspired by these yet? Are you on the fence still?
I'm still on the fence.
Me too. I'm not like, wow, hurry and order me all of them yet. I'm not there yet.
I'm kind of excited to see them next to some of the others that you have.
Yeah.
To see, is this just watercolor pencils?
Yeah.
You know, like you said, the Derwent Ink Tents have such a wow factor, but they're not technically a watercolor pencil.
No,
so,
they're not. They don't.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's see what they do. All right. So while we were switching from Facebook to YouTube, I laid down some ink. Let me show you what I did. Well, not ink. I laid down some pencil. I took 5 pencils. Dandelion, Parakeet, Verdant, Aegean? How do you say that word, Steve? Aegean, I bet. Aegean and Opal. To see how they will blend together. See if we can get a beautiful gradient from yellow to blue. Let me show you the pencils. I haven't even showed you guys these pencils yet here on YouTube. So let me crack into the tin. This is what the tin looks like for the primaries. 24 pencils. There's swatches on the back, different languages, not a lot of information here. In general, Spectrum Noir doesn't give a lot of information even on their website. This is what the pencils look like. We did run into 3 pencils in the set that are off-centered, which is a big no-no in the color pencil world to make off-centered pencils. But I'm willing to turn a blind eye for now on that issue. I showed over on Facebook how to sharpen an off-centered pencil. So if you have that problem with other pencils in your stash, follow go on over to Facebook and watch the first part of the video where I show how to kind of carve an off-centered pencil. So this is what they look like. There's really nothing, like, wow, this is amazing. It's just a pencil, round with English.
I like the blue color.
Do you?
Yeah.
We were discussing that they seem a little light. Could be the type of wood they used,
Yeah.
but they don't seem like cheap light. They just...
Yeah, I think they look really nice. I really like the design of them.
Yep. So, but in true Spectrum Noir fashion, they are in really nice tins and in color groups. Spectrum Noir loves to group their tools in nice sets. I appreciate that. They're not available open stock. I don't appreciate that, but it is Spectrum Noir, and that seems to be the way they roll. So there
and
you
I
go.
asked, the off-center issue, is that only a problem with water-soluble pencils?
No, I've even had a few Prismacolor pencils be off-centered.
Yeah, it's probably just during manufacturing
However they cut the channel. Some companies will show YouTube videos of how pencils are manufactured. It's so cool.
like the Polychromos.
Yeah,
has a good one,
Polychromos has a really good one. I've seen a long time ago one by Prismacolor. I haven't seen it in a while. I think it got taken down. I don't know who took it down, but they are so cool. If you can go Google how color pencils are made, really, really fun to watch. So I don't know why they get off centered. I prefer, I don't have a Prismacolor handy. She's blocking them. I don't like it. Honestly, I hate it when manufacturers cover the ends because you can't see the off-centeredness. So if you can buy open stock pencils, like when you go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever you go to buy your art supplies, if the pencil doesn't have this cap on it, it's really easy to hold up the pencil and give it a quick look. Does it look centered? Okay, put it in your basket. But if they've capped it off, then you're stuck doing this thing where you're like, come on, are you centered? You look decent, and then you put it in your basket. So usually you can look straight down, give it a twirl, and see if it looks pretty centered, and then that's how you buy open stock in the store. So if you ever see me in the store and I'm doing this, you know what I'm doing. So that's, I don't know. I'm picky about my pencils. If you saw my Facebook post with all my color pencil photos, you know I'm super, super obsessed with color pencils. Okay. Earlier over on Facebook, we were activating everything with a water brush. I'm going to switch it up to an actual brush and see if I get a different feeling, a different result. See if it's better, worse. I don't know. This is a number 8 round. I use these brushes a lot. I really like them. There's links in our Amazon store to a set of these Mimic Creative Mark brushes. They're a really good budget, but not too cheap type water brush. There's a set of them that I have that I really like. So let's see what we can do here. Get my brush just a little wet, but not too wet. And let's see what this does. Let's see. So I'm going to try to activate all of it because I want to see if all of it sort of washes. Yeah, activates. That's the best word. I'm trying for a synonym of activate, and it's just the best word that I can think of. So there you have it. Activate. Okay. So I want to see if we can get it to seamlessly blend. So if we were coloring not a full rainbow, but an almost full rainbow, would this work? Now we're into the parakeet color. And now we're moving into verdant. One of the powers of watercolor is as it's wet, it flows into each other, right? Unlike regular color pencils where you have to do your light and medium pressure, maybe use Jennifer's rule of blending thirds, that kind of thing. This, what we're doing is letting the water flow the colors from thing to thing, from section to section. I'm trying to control the verdant. It's taking over Aegean. How do you say that word? Verdant is too strong. It's taking over Aegean. Back off, verdant. I'm going to pull off some of the verdant with my paper towel. Back off. Aegean's too wimpy. Oh, opal's going to take over. Poor Aegean? How do you say that word?
I think so, yeah.
Aegean is too wimpy. I should have laid down more, but because verdant and opal are both taking over, they're much more pigmented. Look at opal. It's just going. Look at it go. Okay. I feel like I did a decent job. We have a couple sections there that I could have done better right here, so I'm going back. I'm going to try to help it flow a little better. And right here, I could have done better. Trying not to add too much more water because it's just going to... don't fiddle with it, Jennifer. Just let it be. As she keeps fiddling. Okay, let's let it dry.
Sparkle says you're saying Aegean, right?
Oh, okay.
Aegean?
Aegean?
There's the Aegean Sea.
Well, I think it was Aegean something. Let's read the actual pencil. No, Aegean Blue is the name.
Maybe it's from the sea.
I bet it is. I don't know of any other Aegean. But definitely that one was a lighter pigmented pencil because it's getting... it lost the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that.
Like the intensity, the saturation. I always have a hard time finding that word. And parakeet kind of got lost between dandelion and verdant too. These two they lost the battle.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some blending. Let's try some mixing. So I need your eyes, Steve. I need either a warm blue. Let's see, we need let's do green and red, and we're going to try to make a brown.
Okay.
So I need like either a warmish red and a warmish green, or a coolish red and a coolish green. So two colors that are in sort of the same feel, the same undertones. That's the word I'm looking for.
So my first thought would be that green and that red.
Okay, so would you call these cool?
I would call them warm.
You call them warm. See, I always have a hard time identifying whether things are warm or cool. Okay, so Steve pointed to red berry and parakeet, this little guy. So we'll swatch them here and see. That's parakeet right there. And here is red berry. Do they seem...
Yeah,
Let's see what they do.
Yeah,
I'm going to lay down
a little yellow undertone to them.
Okay. Sometimes mixing colors takes a little practice. So if you want to do this on a coloring page, you need a brown, and all you've got is this set, this 24 set right here in front of you. Then I would say have a swatch paper next to you and practice swatching, because like we just saw on this little strip here, some colors are going to be less pigmented than others. So this little red, this red berry, might overtake this green, and we might end up with just red. But what we're looking for is a brown. So Steve, why does this work? Why are we going to get a brown when we mix red and green?
Hopefully we will.
Technically, the theory, why does this theory work?
Because they're complementary colors.
They're complementary colors. So if you look at your color wheel, any colors that are across from each other on the color wheel should work and either give you a brown or a tan or even a gray, a neutralish color with the undertones of the colors you mixed. That's the theory. Now, where this goes astray is if you pick a green that has a different undertone. So this one has a bluish undertone, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So this one has a real blue undertone, so it's going to interact very different with this same red. In fact, that would be a good experiment.
It's interesting on camera. It's like the camera doesn't pick up the yellow in that red, because under the lights I could see the yellow, but on screen it does. I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So this will be a good experiment. 2 different grains with the same red. Let's see what neutral color we get out of the 2. And this will be a good little color theory bonus lesson for all of you, because if you end up buying a primary set and you say, Jennifer told me I could make a brown and it's not working, maybe this will help you understand why it is or isn't working. Okay, so let's activate the red and see, I'm worried it's just going to overtake the green. But there it's starting to neutralize. Can they see that?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see if we go to that one there.
So this is where the practice comes in. You'll want to practice the amounts, the quantities of the red to the green ratio to get, this is coming out to be a nice beige type color. But again, that red is just really strong. So I'm going to back it off by pulling out some of that red and kind of controlling it. So we've got a nice, I don't know what color I would call that. I'm trying to see up here.
Kind of
a brown tan. We made tan. We made a tan. So those 2 colors with a green with a tiny bit of red in it makes a tan color. Okay, now let's see, same red. So we learned right away, just a tiny bit of red. But this is a stronger green, so let's see what happens here. Green and red. Oh, see, it's going gray. We're getting a really weird... This is going really...
Yeah, that's a really good example.
That's where, they told me if I mixed the complementary colors, I would get brown. And what we're getting is a gray, which if you need a gray, then woohoo, I got myself a gray. See, let me pull it up. That's a full-on gray that we made there. So that's great if you need a gray, because it didn't come with a gray in that set. But you'd be pretty upset if you're trying to paint a tree and that's not the color you needed. So you can see right away why the color theory, understanding the cool tones and the warm tones.
So now I'm really curious. Let me see the reds. So that same green.
Yeah, I always miss that when you look over and you're like, now let me see this. You always get this excited look when we get into the science.
Yes.
The color science. Okay, which ones did you want to see? I'm excited about my gray.
I want to see now a cool red with that green, that cool green.
Okay. You pick it.
Okay.
You pick the red. I'll hold it here so they can see what red. Oh, you did that, camera. Okay. Pick a red.
You
have to look at, don't look down here. Look at the tips.
Well, I am. I'm wondering, I don't know that that's even cool enough. For sure that's a cool.
Yeah.
But it's very maroon, so I don't know.
Here, I'll swatch them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Oops. So we've got Ruby.
Oh yeah, yeah, do that one with that green.
Oh, okay. You don't
I
need
can
me
already
to
see
do
that
more.
it's a
Okay.
cool red.
So here's Ruby
Cool undertones, I mean.
with this same green.
Right.
All right. So we picked Ruby. I want to write this down. Okay, so this is spinach. I've almost used up this poor micron pen. And then this red here is red berry. I used this pen to swatch all of those, what are they called? The Artesas. And I swatched another big set, and this pen is just done. It's like, I've had it. And this is spinach here. And ruby. Okay. That was the best handwriting I've ever had. Okay. Just gently now pull in a little bit of the red and a wee bit of spinach. Is it going gray again? I think it's going gray again.
Kind of makes sense in the, you know, if you think about blue undertones would be more on the gray side, a cool gray.
Yeah.
You know, whereas yellow undertones would have more
it's
of
more of a blue gray, where up here it was more of a warm gray.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was probably that red berry has those yellow undertones, so it made them a warmer gray, whereas those make that cool gray. That's cool. And I'm really happy to see we got brown on the first one.
Yeah. That was a good pick, those two right there. So again, like I said, what you would want to do is do a few tests like this. Go through and match them up and see where you get a good combination, and then make note of it. If you have a swatch book like I've got right here, where I'm swatching all of the Spectrum Noir AquaBlends in one place, then it would be smart for me to write down that red berry and parakeet make a good tan color. And I could just write it right here. In fact, I'm going to do it right now so that I can always remember that red berry red berry plus, what was it?
Parakeet?
Parakeet. Parakeet equal tan. Then I'll always have that recipe. And next time I sit down to color with these, I'll have this mix. And the really fun thing about this now is, I love this. Even with color pencils, you can do this kind of thing. And now when you color the tree, if it's an apple tree, you use this red for the apples and this green for the leaves. And then you mix them together and you get the bark and the tree. And then the tree feels so harmonious because it's the same undertones in the bark as it is in the leaves and in the apples. And the whole thing just feels so harmonious. It's just beautiful. It's so fun to color like
grays
that.
Too.
Yeah.
That is a lot of, like you said, where the set didn't come with any grays or any tans, then you could totally play with all of the different complementary colors.
Yeah, he's getting all happy again. I think that my love of color theory has officially rubbed off on you. You've always loved color theory with like photography and
mostly graphic design is where I dealt with it.
But now I got you. I got him, you guys. Ha! Okay.
Polly just donated. She says, "Thank you for being a great distraction."
Aww.
She hurt her back. So.
You hurt your back? Oh, you and Steve are both in pain, and I'm distracting you both with my color theory fanaticism. Thank you for donating, Polly. You sure appreciate it. I'm sorry you're in pain. Okay, so we've, I think that the blend shows that it's blending nicely. I think you would need to practice a little bit. This is a different creature. You would need to practice and know your tools. Know that opal is a really strong color and it might overtake a weaker color. So opal to verdant would have been perfect, but having that weak Aegean color in the middle was kind of a not the best color choice on my part. So swatching them out, knowing that kind of thing would have helped the situation, or using less opal, laying down less, and using a little more water would have made that blend more perfect.
That makes sense.
So again, we talked about this before, knowing the properties. I think that's a better word. Knowing the properties of your tools is really important, because just because it does one thing doesn't mean it's wrong, or doesn't mean the tool is bad. It's just a property of the tool. And then you get to decide if you like that. Do I want to deal with that? Is that you know, something I want to play with and learn how to use or not? Or do I just want to stick with the tools I already have? So that's my job today, is to show you the properties, show you how the tool acts and reacts and how it's working, and then you get to decide if it's something you want to purchase and play with. Okay, now before we start coloring on the mandala and before I show you my little new thing I want to try, I want to compare real quick to some of the other brands. So if you have some of these other brands, you know how they stack up to the other brands. So let me bring up my little box of goodies here. I'm going to put these away real quick so that the tin is all in one piece, and I'll bring up my box. All right. This is my set of water soluble pencils plus this giant box, the big dog. What do you think of that dog, Rose? She's not impressed. Okay, so this one is South Sun, China brand. I mean, these are made in China too, Spectrum Noir. So just because it's coming from China doesn't really mean anything. There's 150 watercolor pencils. So we've got two kinds of water soluble pencils going on here. Watercolor pencils and the amazing ink tents by Derwent. So let's address that right off. Watercolor pencil means it's going to, or it should act like watercolor, which we didn't test. Let's do that real quick. What it should do, let me grab another color. Let's try bright green. What it should do, if it's watercolor, is I should be able to color this down. Remember how the colors flowed from one color to the next? That's a watercolor property. And then a biggie for watercolor is that we should be able to lift it. So after I activate it, I should be able to take my paper towel and lift it. So we're going to activate it really good, lots of water. Because it's watercolor, it shouldn't be permanent. Okay, and then I should be able to lift it like thusly.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, so if you paint with it, you're coloring a flower and you want to put in a little highlight, or a leaf and you want to put in a little highlight, you can do that kind of thing. We should be able to let it dry down. Let's do it on opal. We should be able to let it dry down and do the same thing. So opal is now dry, and I'm going to take a little water on my paper towel. I'm trying to find a clean spot on my paper towel. Get it nice and wet, and now we should be able to do the same thing right here. So I'm going to let it sit on the opal for a second.
Did you already grab your Albrecht Durer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let it sit here for a second on the opal, and we should be able to lift it because this is non-permanent.
Even after it's dried.
Even after it's dried. Well, come on, maybe if I give it a little wiggle. There it goes. Okay, see? So we can lift it. That's one of the qualities of watercolor. You can lift it. It's more translucent. So if I drew a black line, which is really great for us color page colorists, if we'd use watercolor on top of a coloring page, the line art will still show through. These are all properties, attributes of watercolor, okay? So one of these things is not like the other. I'm a Sesame Street girl, aren't I? Okay, so of all of these, we have one product that is not two. We have two products that are not watercolor. They're different creatures. We have this one, which is also by Derwent, but it's graphite that is water soluble. Graphite as in like your number 2 pencils or your pencils that you use at school. This is tinted graphite. Amazing. One of Steve's absolute favorite products that I have. Every time I pull him out, his eyes twinkle and he gets all excited. So this is tinted graphite. You can also buy just straight up water soluble graphite. So much fun to draw with. So much fun. So this is water soluble though, so it falls under the water soluble category. And then this is the one that everybody compares it to. I wish I had the tin, but I don't.
Real quick, Beverly just donated, and she says, just because you both are so sweet. Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Beverly. You're sweet too. Thank you. Okay, so these are the ones that everybody drools over, and it took me forever, and thanks to a fan, they helped me finish my collection. These are the Derwent Ink Tents. So these are also water soluble, but these are ink. So once they have dried down, they are technically permanent. So let me give you the quick caveat. Is that how you say that? To that. What they're talking about is you have to completely activate everything you drew down. So if I were to do exactly what I just showed you with this color here on the green, if we grabbed a green here of the ink tents, I grabbed field green and do exactly the same thing. In order for this to be permanent when I'm done here, I have to activate every granule of that and then let it dry. And once that dries, it's technically ink and it will be permanent on my paper. But it's also water soluble, so that's why I include it in this discussion and why it's confusing. See, I have to if I leave that one green right there in the corner unactivated and assume that it's activated and come back with more water later to layer on. Maybe I want to layer a layer of yellow on top to make it look like it's a sun-kissed leaf. And I come down with a big wash of water of yellowiness, beauty on top, and hit that one grain of green that I didn't activate. Then that green's going to go boof into the yellow, and I'll be like, no!
Especially with the ink tents.
Especially with
so
the
vibrant.
ink, because they have so much pigment. That's why we love them. So you have to understand that. If you are expecting it to be fully permanent once it has dried, then you have to fully activate every grain, okay? I know I say this every time I pull out the ink tents, but that not everyone listens because it's a huge thing to understand. When you buy these, you're thinking, oh, now it's permanent. And then you hit it with the yellow and no! So, yeah, that's what happened. You didn't activate the one grain.
That's very dramatic.
It is dramatic. Now, come on, you guys agree, right? That would be...
if it messed up your page.
If it messed up your page and you were depending on the permanency of the ink tents. All right.
Sparkle asked, do you prefer the pencils or the blocks for ink tents?
I love the pencils because I can hold them like a pencil, but I have some of the blocks too. Thanks to one of our amazing fans, I have some of the blocks. And they work like a pan, like a watercolor pan, but you can also lay them down and color with them and everything. So I like both, but I love the familiarity of the pencil. I have some duplicates of ink Inktense, and I keep them in a pencil roll. In fact, they're right by Steve's. Let me show you real quick how I use them. I get asked this a lot. So these are my duplicates right here. I keep them in a roll, and then what I do is I carry these in my emergency art kit sometimes, and then I'll just have my water brush, and I lay this out in my lap, and I just have my water brush, and I touch the tips. I'll just do it right now. Let's pick a prettier color than that dark brown. Let's grab this purple right here, and I'll just touch the tip, pick up the ink, and I'm painting. So I can do that while I'm in church or in the doctor's office or at my mom's house or at the hospital waiting for someone for a procedure. So you're coloring. So that works awesome, just to have them in a pencil roll like this. And you've got, ink. And because you picked the pigment up off the tip, every drop has been activated and you don't have that no moment. Okay, so now you've had the Inktense lecture. So let's go back to our watercolor pencils. That's the difference between Inktense and everything else that I'm going to show you. Okay, so now we have another Derwent product. This is their metallic line. It's also water soluble. They put a little brush mark, see, all of Derwent products that are water soluble have a little brush mark on their actual pencil. Okay, so those are both Derwents, and then I have Crayola. They're actually halfway decent. They're not the best. They're Crayola, so you get what you pay for.
But
you know?
for the price,
they're decent. So if you want to try some watercolor pencils, okay, we've got Windsor and Newton. They have a line. I think you can only get them at Michael's. The Windsor, I don't think you can even get them online. Only at Michael's. Prismacolor makes a line. We're going to compare them because I don't like them. They come out a little milky looking. So we're going to compare them. Technically, they're supposed to match to the Prismacolor line. They say Prismacolor Premier on my tin, but they don't anymore when you buy them new. They say Prismacolor Watercolor now on them. And then I have some open stock. Now, this is another way you can try watercolor pencils if you don't want to buy a full set. You can go to an art store and just buy a few. So these 3 I got in an art box, but these 6 right here we bought open stock at our local Blick, and I let Steve pick them for me, and he knows I love purple, so he got me a light, medium, and dark in the red violets and a light, medium, and dark in the greens, so we could try the Faber-Castell Albrecht Durer. I think I got that pretty close. And again, they have a little brush right there, so you know that they are water soluble pencils. So let's put a little Albrecht Durer down and you can see what they do. I've got pencils going everywhere. Let's clean up just a little bit so I don't drop them. That's the worst thing you can do to a pencil is drop pencils. It's not the worst thing. You could probably drop them, you know, put them in the fire. That would be worse. I'm just saying.
wood chipper.
I said the worst thing you could do is drop them, and I was like, that's not the worst thing you could do, Jennifer.
You can think of a lot of worse things.
You could chew on them. That would be worse than dropping them. You could let your dog have at them. That would be worse. So these are technically watercolor pencils.
Okay, so these are watercolors. Okay.
These, you guys are going down way better than the Spectrum Noir. But I think these are way more money. Do you want to look up the cost for us?
Sure.
I think these are way more money than the Spectrum Noir. Steve will do some price comparison for us.
Albrecht Durer.
Let's assume, because the prices are everywhere, let's assume that the Spectrum Noir are about $30 for 24.
Okay. So we're looking for 24 Albrecht Durer.
Look at that color.
Assorted, $32.80.
For how many?
For 24.
Oh, not that much difference.
Now this one, 58, huh?
Are they all over the place? Go to Blick.
Let me just see. Albrecht Durer Artist Watercolor Pencils in a metal tin. 30.
This is
In a tin, assorted. $32.80 with $5 shipping, so it's not available for Prime. Huh. Okay, yeah, I'll go check Blick.
I used way too much water there. Okay, that's the Albrecht Durer. These are by Kohinoor Hardmouth.
Okay, set of 24
the Mondolet.
Yeah, $32.80.
So they're not that much. I thought they were a lot more money. These are the Kohinoor Mondolet, M-O-N-D-E-L-U-Z.
Mondeluz. Like
They've got a black one too. These are going down so much easier.
So $32.80.
Oh, but not as much pigment payoff compared to the Albrecht Durer. I'm getting worse at pronouncing it. First time I did it was perfect. Just listen to my first time when I did it. Okay, that was a lot of water again. But you're getting the feel here. Let's grab I want to go back and redo a couple of these now that I've felt a different brand again. Let's grab 3. Doodle-doodle-doo. Doodle-doodle-doo. I need to hurry because I still have my secret new thing I want to teach everybody.
That's right.
Remember, if you're having fun, to hit a thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up. Yeah, just not as much color as those Albrechts.
Mark says, I got the Museum Aquarelle by Caran d'Ache for Christmas, and out of all my watercolor pencils, they have the most pigment.
The Caran d'Ache. Well, that's a very good name. So I would expect them to be amazing. That's exciting. The other ones I had my name on my eye on is, what's the other line I just told you had a new line? Oh no, that was markers. That had a water-based marker line coming out. But I was like, oh, I gotta check those out. Let's try a few of the Prismacolors.
And we'll have to get a couple open stock next time we're at Blick. And if they have them open stock at Blick.
Maybe we need to go to Blick like tomorrow. Need to. Let's try that pink there. Okay, I'm in a pink mood for our Prismacolors. There's the Prismacolor down to a medium pink and a kind of a peachy pink. We'll see how these guys do. Wow.
Yeah, it's looking pretty.
That one's not as impressive, but it's a light colored one. So from what I understand with watercolor, you want to go for the darker pigment because you can always add water to lighten it. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm confused now.
Polly says there's a Blick near her. Dangerous.
Uh-oh. Maybe I should fly to where Polly is and we'll go to Blick together, Polly. Did I try them all? Oh, let's give Crayola a swing, shall we?
Oh, yeah. I'll do that.
I'm feeling blues. Let's do these 3. It's an interesting combo. Definitely isn't going down as strong. I'm having to work at it more, but that's all right.
Kathy says, seems like the reds in all of the sets have more pigment.
Well, and typically reds are a little bit more permanent too, harder to lift, even in watercolor world. Reds are more, there's a fancy word. I can't think of it. There's a word they use. Oh well. Oh look, that's interesting. These are harder to activate. You gotta work at it, people. This is the difference. More fillers, less pigment. See how much I'm having to work to get the bottom stripes of color going.
Huh. Aspie says, love the Albrecht Durers and the colors match with Polychromos.
Oh. All right. It seems like Derwent has another line of water soluble, don't they? Derwent has a watercolor line, right? Will you check that for me?
I don't know. Are they these here? The gold?
No, that's Faber-Castell.
Oh.
These are the Pro colors, but they're not water soluble.
That's Polychromos. The gold Faber? Are those not a... Am I thinking of the wrong one?
Okay, so you can see, you can even get the Crayola to do fun things if that's all you can afford is Crayola. There is one brand I would tell you to stay away from. And that's like a knockoff, like store brand. I bought it from, it was either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and it came in a box set of, and you know, like you buy those box sets of art paints, and you get like watercolors and water tubes, pans and tubes, and it had paint. Sorry, I'm starting to get tired. Pencils, and it had like a little bit of everything in one wooden box, and they were terrible. It must have been like 90% filler and a little dash of color because it didn't do anything.
So Polly's really wondering if you think the Albrecht Durer are worth the money.
Let's look at this together. Will you zoom out a little bit, Steve, so we can look at this whole thing? Let's look together, shall we? We've now played with a lot of pencils. I think my overall impression here is that these guys right here are coming in average. They're feeling really average. What I'm surprised by is that their price is coming in so close to the Albrecht Durers. And these guys colored down so lovely. Let me do it again to make sure I'm feeling the same way. They're coloring so lovely. Like I said,
so these guys meaning the Albrecht Durer.
The Albrecht Durers. Now, one of the things like I said, that I love about water-soluble pencils is you can both color with them like a regular color pencil, and you can then hit them with water if you so choose. So if you're at the hospital and you want to color like a normal pencil, you can. So I'm just feeling here to see if they feel similar. If I'm lying, they're very similar. But when we hit them with water, I don't think it was just me. It felt like a different payoff. See? That's the Spectrum Noir. That's Albrecht Durer. It seems like the Albrecht Durer they're like quicker to activate with water. That's the phrase. It's more work to activate the Spectrum Noir than it is to activate the Albrecht Durer. So knowing the prices are so similar, I would say go for the Albrecht Durers. How many colors come in the Albrecht Durers?
Aspie, by the way, says that Derwent has at least 3 grades of watercolor. Academy, Gold Faber, and Watercolor.
I wonder, yeah. Now I want to try those. I think we need to go to Blick and go buy open stock of all of them. I need them all. And then we can do a battle of the Derwent water-soluble pencils. That would be so fun.
So it looks like they have 120. So I wonder if, well, maybe someone can answer that then. I wonder if they match, if the colors match one for one to the Polychromos.
Okay, we can answer that. We can do that right now with what I've got, right? Okay, this is an Albrecht Durer. Okay, so it's the ones with the silver. These guys. And then I'll pull out my Polychromos and let's find out.
Yvonne asked, can you use baby oil or glycerin with watercolor pencils?
Yeah, but I don't see an advantage. There are different watercolor techniques that you can do when you add in things like glycerin and oils, but I don't know of an advantage. I'm sure you can do some different techniques.
Melissa says, yes, they all match up.
Let's try it. So now that would open up some possibilities.
Well, you know, and they're only $325 for all 120. Oh, let's see, that's the wood box.
Well, we don't need a wood box.
Yeah, but if you get the tin case, it's 164.
164?
That's what it says right now. Normally 328, 164. All 120 Albrecht Durer. Uh-oh. He's having full set syndrome.
I only have 6. Oh, wouldn't that be cool to have them side by side in your case? We could do tritones with them. And we already have it figured out because we have the tritone.
What have we done?
Hey. Okay, we gotta see. Oh, we gotta see. All right, I'm looking for Pink Matter Lake 129. Okay. Pink Matter Lake. Oh my goodness, my eyes are
D.
all
Whitmore
blurry.
says, I have the small canister of Arteza watercolor pencils. I got them to try them out. You're making me want to get them out and play.
Oh, you so need to. Look, it's the same numbers. Is it the same numbers? Oh, I'm throwing pencils. Don't drop your pencils. Okay. Will you double check? Did I get the right one? Oh, they look the same. Okay. Calm yourself. Number 125. 125, right here. Are those the same? Did I get the right one?
Okay, let's see.
I didn't know they... Did I do right? Are those the same?
Yep.
Okay.
129, 129.
133.
Crap black. That's the name.
That's not
Crap
the name.
black. Rosa.
Can't be the name.
Pink Matter.
133.
It's Pink Matter Lake. I think that's in German or something.
Okay, check these two too to make sure I got them right. Okay, now we're looking for 264.
Magenta 133. Yep, they're the same. Kelly confirmed. Yes, same numbers, and they also match the Pitt pens.
Oh,
that's cool.
That's really cool. 112. I'm like...
Polly loves when your little girl comes out.
We need to double check that I got the right ones paired up there. I'm really wanting to find the greens too, but...
Yeah, it sounds like that's what it is.
171. But I want to like do a color test. I want a color test.
Middle purple 125. Yep, they match.
264.
So I think you can trust they match.
No, I don't trust. I test. 264. Did I do right? My problem is my vision's a little blurry, so that's why I'm having a double check.
Yep, 264.
112.
Phthalo green.
Let's see if I've got them in my
Dark phthalo green.
tritones. 112. And
Melinda says, I bet they match the Pitt pastels also.
171. And Faber-Castell's in where that you can go visit their
Isn't it in Germany?
Oh, we gotta go. I don't speak a word of German. We gotta go. We gotta go. Okay, let's get a new piece of paper. We don't need a big piece of watercolor paper though. That's a waste. Let's get a little one. Okay. Art test. Let's get a nice blank piece of... This is the same kind of water paper, just smaller size. Okay. So we'll do the Polychromos down the left.
Great. Our thing is shaking because our neighbor's doing
They're
laundry.
doing their laundry again. Okay. So this is 125. 125. Okay. Do the greens in a second. Here is 133. Wow, my vision is shot. It's time to shut down the stream when you can't see, but you really want to. 129. Okay. Here we go. 125.
You're so silly.
Look at that. How do they do that? Different fillers and it's like art magic. How do they do that? Now I want the pens too. 129. Has anybody ever done this?
This is like ultimate full set syndrome. This is like taking it to the next level. Because now you have multiple lines that you want the full set of.
Hey, something's off. Oh, here we go. Okay, now we're into the greens. 264. 64. Okay. And then we've got 112. This is some sort of witchery. And 17. Why did I not know this, that they all do this? This should be like one of their big selling points. Why do they not proclaim this from the tops of their 112? I mean, I've been on their site many times, done research multiple times, and never connected that their products do this.
They want to see your new technique.
Oh, my new technique. I got distracted by this world of Faber-Castell amazingness. Okay, we got to activate because this is amazing. You could do so much. This is what I was wishing Prismacolors would do.
Yeah, you were hoping that.
That's why I bought this whole big box, because I thought I could match up the colors with their water and lay down a base layer of the water, then come in with the, because this would be a wax resist with the water product and build up layers. This is what we're buying these.
Okay.
You have no choice. Because this is amazing. Look at this.
Yeah, that's fun.
Okay, we'll just activate them really quick, and then I'll show them what I was thinking we could.
And especially where they're so good. Like you said, as soon as you hit them with water, they just melt.
Yeah, they're not, you don't have to work hard. Although this one I'm having to work a little harder on, but not much harder.
So it sounds like, it's funny, now you've gone on to these versus what you started with, which were the
Spectrum Noir.
Spectrum Noir.
But it makes sense, because Spectrum Noir, again, markets to crafters, hobbyists, and colorists, where Faber-Castell is marketing to artists, professional artists. So this makes sense that we're getting an artist quality result versus a mid-range result. It makes sense. What's blowing my mind is the price.
Yeah, but they're so similar in price, yeah.
That's what's blowing my mind.
And
I would expect they're open stock. Yeah. Don't buy the Spectrum Noirs.
Yeah.
And they were off-centered. And do these have light fast information?
They probably do, you would think so.
They do. They have light fast. Yeah. Don't buy the Spectrum Noirs. Wow. This is not how I thought this would go. Wow. Okay. Now, having said all of this.
Indiana says, don't forget to get the pit pens and gelatos.
Oh, yeah, man, you got to have the whole thing now.
Are gelatos Faber-Castell?
Mm-hmm. But I don't think they would color match all this. Gelatos are...
Yeah, now we're curious.
Yeah.
Oh no, Coloring with D says the FSS monster is alive.
Very alive. And she's going into debt tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Kathy just donated.
Oh, Kathy's helping me not go into debt tomorrow. Thank you, Kathy. My pocketbook thanks you. All right. Okay, I'm really excited. Okay, I gotta calm down and come back to what we were here to talk about. I'm just going to put all these pencils right here, safe, where they won't fall. But now, I gotta...
Melissa said that the Arteza watercolor matched their pencils as well.
Oh. Do they match the expert? And I have more questions for you, because they just changed some of the names on the experts that we've discovered, remember? From the old set, when they upped to the 120, some of the names are different from the older set. So are they up to the new names yet? I have so many questions.
Blue Petal Medius is same with the Caran d'Ache, the Pablos that match the water-soluble line Supracolors.
Oh, they match the Pablos. I really like the Pablos. I was coloring with them just the other day because I was like, I need to remember the Pablos, and they're really good. Very pricey though. Caran d'Ache pencils are very pricey. All right, let's bring these lovelies back. Now, we do have a lot of mid-range decent pencils, and so what can we do with them? Because we have them and we don't want them to go to waste.
Right.
So let me show you a fun technique. How's that for a segue?
That was beautiful.
Okay, they've all hung in with me for over an hour, and so let's do this thing. Let me show you what we're going to do. Will you grab the blue ones out of there that belong back in here? Okay, what you need. This is like for a background, or for, well, you could do it for anything. So what I'm going to find here, I don't have a tea strainer, but what I do have is this lovely guy that we're going to use. The video I saw, they used a little tea strainer, so I might have to go to like Dollar Tree and pick up a tea strainer for this, so I don't contaminate this other tool in the future. So, and then what we need is a spray bottle with water, which I think might be over here. I'm sorry, I thought I was prepared, and evidently I am not. Okay, here we are. Spray bottle. Mini spray bottle with just water. And then you need something like a tea strainer or a little, something meshy, like this. This thing right here, something I picked up to shave pastels. It's called a pastel shaper. Technically they use it to turn a pastel stick into more with like a point so you can draw with it. But I use it to shave my pastels for making like pastel dust to do backgrounds with. Awesome little tool. Then the pastel dust gets collected into this little container, but basically it's a little strainer with a lid. So I'm going to use just this part of this tool. I'll show it to you again in case you're interested in this tool. Pastel Shaper. I'm trying to see if there's a company name. Oh, it's also by Creative Mark, the same company that does these brushes. Okay, so what we're going to do, so if you have a coloring page, let's do it on this one. Okay, and then you take your pencil and you can do, I'm feeling oranges and yellows and maybe a tiny bit of red. Tiny, because we've already learned that their dark colors are really strong, right? So let's do some background fun here really carefully. So you could go in and like color the background and then activate it, but I thought this looked like a lot of fun to try. So we're going to put the yellow down first. So if you had the tea strainer, I think they're flat instead of cone shaped. I'm not sure. Maybe someone who has a tea strainer. I'm going to go to the store and find out. And then we're going to just go like this and have little bits of the pigment fall down in a dust. So we're not putting any kind of pencil marks, no streaks or anything like that. So this is very free form. You have to accept how this is going to work, right? You could mask off areas that you...
I wonder if I'd use a darker one.
Yeah, I'm moving up now.
Okay.
like all watercolor techniques, this is going to be very freeform. Can you see it yet? Can we see it? Maybe in that other one if I move this box. Get the box out of the way. Okay. There, now you can see how it's coming out. I'm going to have to clean this because next time I use this, I don't want watercolor getting mixed in with my pastels. That would not be what I would be going for here. Oh, I'm not. I thought you had the other camera going, so I was holding it on purpose the other way. Okay. And then you can either activate it with a brush and be really controlled how this flows, or we're going to try with the spritzer. Okay, then just a little bit of red, Jennifer. Don't go overboard. Okay, I'm going to tap it. I'm shaking the whole thing, I'm sorry. I'll try not to be so aggressive. Okay, let's activate it and see what it does. Okay, so just plain water in this. This is watercolor paper, and I would normally like lay it down with probably some plastic or something and tape it down. Looks like there's something in there from another project. I'll try to get it out of there. Okay. All right, now let's see. Look how fun. It's starting to go. Oh, it's starting to go. Look how pretty. You have to be quiet as it changes. Oh, that's really pretty. And it didn't take much water. That was what, 2, 3 tiny little squirts. Oh, I just want to do the whole thing. Let's do more. And like a confetti. And then I can go in and color the rest. More of the yellow. So this would be a good way to use a set of pencils you buy that maybe you weren't so excited about, or say you would decide to try buying some open stock pencils just to try a different brand, but you weren't that impressed. And then you go and buy the full set of Albrecht Durer Faber-Castell. So then you save the Albrecht Durers for the detail work, the real blending, the real where you really need the pops of color, the real coloring. And then when you come in for experimentation and blending is when you bring out the pencils that aren't your favorites.
Polly says this would work with Brusho powders. Robin also says, reminds me of Brushos. Dee asked, what if dust gets in an area you don't want it to?
Well, again, like I said, this is very free form. So if you want to really control where this is falling, you'd have to mask it. So in this case, this is a downloadable coloring page. So if you're with Coloring Bliss and you're a partner, apprentice, or colorist, so you're a paid member, you could download a coloring page and print it twice, and then you could cut out, say, this center section of one page and lay it on top, and then you could do all of your background decorating around that masked area and then lift off that part that you had laid down, and then that mask catches everything that you don't want it to have lay down. So there's masking you can do. Let me activate this while I'm chatting. Typically with watercolor, again, it's the knowing the properties and what your tool is going to do. We know that watercolor has a mind of its own, right? The pigments all flow and kind of do what they please, right? sometimes they do amazing things and you're like, wow, that was better than I expected it to do. And sometimes they do things that aren't exactly what you want, and then you just work with it. So in this case, I'm just letting it go over this part, and when I color this later after it dries, I'll just know this has yellow and red in it already, and I either need to come in with a stronger color to cover it, or just work with it and maybe go over with a gold and let it shine through. There's lots of ways to work with it. So it's up to you how you want to do it.
Danny pointed out that if the paper is dry, you should be able to at least move it around a little bit.
You could lift some of it if you wanted to.
Yvonne asked, so what are the best watercolor pencils to use?
So I don't know the best because I only have a few brands. Of my sets that I have here, I think I'm most impressed right now as far as watercolor. Remember, there's different kinds of water-soluble tools. As far as watercolor, I'm really impressed with the Albrecht Durer right now in my collection. I like that it matches up with my Polychromos. That gives me some abilities. You know, like when you buy a tool, you want to be able to insert it into your other tools and make your other tools more powerful, and you make it so you can use those tools in new ways and make you more inspired. I mean, you guys saw how excited I started getting when I started thinking of that. So that makes me excited. So for me, as far as a mid-range water-soluble watercolor pencil, I'm really excited about those Albrecht Durers right now. But are they the best? I don't know. I'm not a watercolorist. I don't know. I can't speak to all of the aspects and properties. I still love my Derwent Ink Tents because I still think are some of the most pigmented water-soluble pencils. If you're looking for high pigment payoff, Derwent Ink Tents, I don't think anybody can beat that. Do you guys agree? Those of you who are on with me right now, do you agree with that? I think Ink Tents, it's kind of like the standard for the highest pigmented water-soluble pencil. But they're not watercolor like we were talking about earlier. So, yeah. I don't know what to say.
Do you ever at Sparkle asked, do polys react with water?
Polychromos are oil based, so they have wax in them too, but they don't react with water. They'll actually repel water. So what we could do is color areas that we don't want the water to flow into. So where we were talking about how do you keep that watercolor from flowing into these areas, I could have colored this with white, with a Polychromo or any white wax-based or oil-based pencil. Of course, once you colored it with white, you kind of are done with that area. But let's say I wanted to keep and maintain that as white. I could have colored it with white and it would have just beaded right off because it's wax, or what is wax? Petroleum based. It's petroleum based, so it would have just beaded right off. So that's a resist. So that's why I'm excited about the Polychromos and the Albrecht Durer being the same color matches, because now I can play with that. That's a new thing, that you can play with those properties between those two tools. That's really interesting to me, the things we could do in our coloring pages, because I love the way watercolors flow and blend effortlessly. We work so hard as colorists to get colored pencils to blend. It's like step after step, and light pressure, slow pressure, go slow, make sure your pencil's sharp, do this, do that, and now you have a beautiful blend, right? But with watercolor, you get the two things together and a little water, and whoop, they go together because it's water. They like it, just does it, right? So that's why I'm excited about this idea.
Melinda and Kelly agree about the Derwent Ink Tents.
Okay, I'm not the only one that's Ink Tents, power pigment.
Carrie asked if you've tried the Caran d'Ache Supracolor too?
I
don't think we
haven't.
have any, right?
No, the only Caran d'Ache products I have.
So fun on a page of butterflies to give a variety of color schemes.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, that would be.
That's really fun. I'm trying to
Be
lift.
Bright Sparkle says, I've learned so much tonight. Thank you.
Oh, good. And I hope I've made you feel empowered to go try your water-soluble tools. Because if you're like me, you kind of get in a rut and forget and get a little shy to try some of these tools that have very different properties than what you're used to. So don't be afraid. Get out your tea strainers, get out your sprayers, and try something else. I'm trying to lift some of this out here with my paper towel as it's drying here.
I guess which is the other thing
Yeah.
that's nice about the, if you're
Because
on
it's
watercolor paper with the
watercolor.
watercolor pencils, yeah.
Yeah, and we are on watercolor paper, which again, watercolor paper has that property where it's been sized or treated, so lifting is even easier. Where on regular paper, it's
Do you
questionable.
have any Caran d'Ache crayons?
Oh yeah, we do have the Neo colors, a few of them. No, I have a few of them, and then I have one of our awesome fans sent me little samples of most of the colors, or all of the colors. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Neo colors are amazing.
Yeah, those are fun.
So if their water-soluble pencils are anything like their water-soluble crayons, they're going to be amazing. So yeah, I think we need to go to Blake soon.
Okay.
We have a lot of work to do though. So maybe I'll get my work done and then reward myself with a trip to Blake. That seems like a very adult thing to do.
Aspie says, this has been very informative and so much fun.
Good, I'm glad.
Carrie says, so thankful for the teaching. And Jennifer, have you thought of teaching on Skillshare as well?
We've thought about it a little bit. We have our partner program where you can pay one monthly fee and then you come in and I do workshops every week. So if you like my teaching style and my techniques and my mannerisms and my silly humor, and if you like all of that, then I highly recommend you come and check out our partner program. We have over a year's worth of workshops now, all archived there. So when you become a partner, say you decide tonight to come and become a partner, all those archived workshops open up to you immediately. So I think there's over 40 weeks worth of workshops, a lot of workshops that open up to you immediately. And then you get to, for that month that you've paid for it, start attending the workshops starting tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a workshop where we're going to be doing a coloring game together as partners. And it's kind of a practicing so we can work on being more free and more fun at picking our colors. So we're going to be playing a coloring game tomorrow. It's going to be lots of fun. We've all month been studying how to pick colors. We've used color theory, we've used color schemes, we've talked about trusting our own color instincts and why you can trust your own color instincts. It's been a really fun month of color picking. And then next month, we're focusing on backgrounds, kind of like what we just did right here, and inspiring ideas to just get your juices going on how to do backgrounds in your art. So that will be February's theme. So if you like that kind of idea and you want some ideas, like I said, there's already an entire year's worth of archived workshops waiting for you, and then you get fresh stuff right away as you enter into the partner workshops and the partner program. It's really awesome. So that's kind of what I've been doing instead of Skillshare. Because I like the one-on-one aspect where I get to help my partners, and it's a partner thing where we take polls. When you become a partner, you get into a private Facebook group where I do polls and ask you, as a partner, you tell me what you want to learn. And then they told me, they said, I want to learn how to pick colors. I want to learn how to do backgrounds. And then I made a list for the year. I don't know if we've formed the whole year yet because I want to be fluid and let my partners tell me what they want me to teach them. And then that's what we do. We move forward with weekly workshops and with interaction on Facebook, and it's really a fun way to learn. And I like it that way because it's very partner oriented and really one-on-one feeling, even though it's not in real life. I wish it could be where I teleport myself into each of your rooms and have a little lesson with you. I think that would be fun. But until they invent teleportation, we'll do it this way. I would much rather come straight into your room and do it with you. But alas, teleporters aren't there yet. So, well, I will let you know if I end up going to Blick. Steve's like, I don't know. We have a lot of work to do, he says. And he's right, because we're going to be filming some of these partner workshops, and I have tritones to develop for all of you. I'm so excited. So many fun things. So make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for hanging in with us to the very end. And I'll let you know if my full set syndrome gets satisfied. I'm sure it will eventually, whether it's this weekend or not. I don't know. We've got a lot to do. Probably not this weekend, but I'm sure eventually all those Albrecht Durers will end up in my collection, because that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then we can have fun learning new techniques of how to pair the Albrecht Durers with the Polychromos.
That's cool. Yeah.
That would be really cool. Really fun to do some lessons on pairing Polychromos with those watercolors. That would be really fun. So thanks again for joining us, all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful night. Bye-bye, everyone.